This is the Lincoln Journal-Star editorial board endorsement interview with Justin Carlson. He is a candidate for City Council in District 3. Justin, thanks for being with us this morning. We'll start off just with some quick introductions. And since you're the most important one, you'll be the final introduction. I'm Dave Bundy. I'm the editor. Natalia, you're pretty important too, as my boss. So,
hi, Justin. Good to see you.
How are you,
Natalia,
Natalia?
president of the Journal-Star.
All right, Mike.
Hi, Mike James, community member.
Hi, Mike.
You should say that with more muscle. It's a big, important job.
I usually muscle him around on the basketball court.
Yeah, I played
Okay.
basketball with Mike, so.
All right. Okay, Kent.
Kent Walgamot. I write about entertainment, arts, and I've been on the editorial board for about 12 years, I think, maybe a little more than that.
So you're saying there's nothing that could happen that would surprise you at this point. Okay, that's not a challenge, Justin. All right. We'll start with the first question, and this is a way for you to introduce yourself
Sure.
to our readers. Why do you want, public office looks like a complicated, painful at times thing at this point in our community. Why do you want this office? And then what experiences and attributes do you have that qualify you for city council?
Sure. Well, first off, thank you all for taking part of this, and those that are watching too at a later date too. Democracy only works if we take part in it, and really important to me, and the paper plays such a critical role in that too. So thank you for all you guys work there too, and for reaching out to me here too. Why am I running for office a little bit? That there's not really one particular hot issue or something like that got me fired up, or that happened to me that kind of said I'm going to run and change this. It's kind of a long progression. I've been involved in our community for really my whole life too. When I saw that Jane Raybould was likely to maybe win a legislative seat, and that the seat would become open, it piqued my interest a little bit too. Going back, I've kind of always been one of those people that's involved in the community. I always am on a board or two, and always looking to help out. I believe very strongly, and I'm passionate about public service. It's something that's kind of defines me a little bit, maybe even more in my career path. Going all the way back to my Lincoln High Student Council days. I was born and raised in Lincoln, got involved in Natalia. I'm getting some feedback, I think, from your...
Oh, are you? Okay,
Yeah,
hold on 1 second here.
about that.
Yeah. All right.
But thank you. But again, I've always been involved. Going back several years ago, I was chairman of the Lancaster County Democratic Party for several years. Kind of got involved in some politics then. Have volunteered on a lot of races over the years also for different folks, local elections. I've been on the Parks and Rec Advisory Board for about 14 years. Parks are something I'm very passionate about. Mayor Beitler appointed me to that board, and I've stayed on there for several terms now. And I think it's at least 14 years to maybe even longer as I think about that. I'm currently on the Parks Foundation Board also, and serve as secretary of that organization. So again, parks are important to me. Been an active volunteer with Leadership Lincoln. 15 plus years volunteering with Leadership Lincoln. Former neighborhood association president, Country Club Neighborhood Association, served as president of that for 5 or 6 years. I was also on the Near South board when I lived over in the Near South. Was a youth basketball coach, coached all my kids' teams too for about 9 years. And so very heavily involved in basketball. 3 of my kids play basketball still. So March Madness is a little crazy in our house, as you can imagine there too. Also involved with the Decline to Sign group that was I was kind of part of that steering committee too, and spokesperson for that. For the folks, kind of the other side of the folks that were trying to recall our city council and mayor relatively recently too. So again, I've always been kind of involved here in the community. So it isn't one issue that's pushing me to run, but rather kind of a natural next step too. My kids are a little bit older. It just felt like the right time in my life and aligned with my interests. So that's kind of what's pushed me to run.
Well,
I believe, oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm worn out listening to all of your activities.
Yeah.
I just sit around. Okay. So the next question for you, Justin, what do you see as the biggest issues facing your district, which is Southwest Lincoln, and then the city as a whole?
Yeah, good questions. And Southwest Lincoln is unique, but it I think it does really represent a good chunk of the city, and the issues are pretty similar throughout that area. I've spent a lot of time really in the past month or so, month and a half, since I have announced, kind of listening for the issues, hearing what people are saying rather than just coming at it from my vantage point. And what I hear probably most about are affordable housing. Hear a lot about concerns about that. I hear a lot about our roads in Lincoln, even with the additional tax monies they're going towards our roads. I still hear about that. And then I hear a lot of just issues, and I'll call them development issues. As Lincoln grows and as the city continues to grow, I think we'll continually see issues about how we develop. And I think it's important that we grow smartly too. So with that, those are kind of the issues that I'm kind of seeing here too. From a platform standpoint, what I'm about, no surprise in my background, strong neighborhoods, quality parks, and economic vitality, especially as it relates to workforce development. So those are kind of some areas that I like to focus on and hope to enact some change.
All right. Well, you touched on this already, but maybe you can go into it a little bit deeper. What do you see as possible solutions for both affordable housing shortage and then that missing middle, the working class type housing?
Sure. Yes. This is a big issue, and it's not something that we can, I think, just solve with build some more houses over here or something like that. It's a lot more complex. And for my work, I work for the University of Nebraska Foundation. I work with engineers and raise money for the College of Engineering. But part of that is I travel around quite a bit too, and read a local paper. I was just down in Austin, Texas, and Houston, Texas. Both was reading the local papers. Both those cities had articles about affordable housing. So this is an issue that's nationwide. It's not just unique to Lincoln. To what are the solutions? Gosh, I could just press a button and have that figured out. I don't know yet, to be honest with you. I think what we need to do is bring people together, bring in the interested parties together, develop a better plan for going forward, and make sure all voices are heard on that. And so that's something I think I've done in other organizations I've been a part of. I'm a consensus builder. I like to bring people together. I'm a pragmatic decision maker. And so again, those are the things I would look to do to solve some of these issues.
All right. So last night, the city council approved Lincoln Bold, and it sort of renewed some discussion of the city's use of TIF money. How do you feel the city should be using TIF money? Is it being used correctly? Is it overused, underused? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I'm certainly supportive of TIF. It's kind of how we've decided as a community how we're going to develop too. And so I am supportive of that in general. Is it overused or not? I mean, I think that's an argument I listen to, of course, but I don't know that I necessarily would agree with that too. I think it's a valuable way to finance projects, to encourage development, and I'm certainly supportive of that.
All right. Just so you know, Justin, we have 30 minutes for this interview, and you're a very efficient answerer at this point. So you're ahead of schedule. If you want to get long-winded at any point,
I'm not very long-winded, so I hope you have a lot of questions, or we'll be done early. So.
Yeah, there is no penalty for early conclusion. So what do you see as good strategies or good policy as far as attracting people, filling vacant jobs? That's a key part of economic vitality that you mentioned. So what can we do to be an attractive community for people who are looking to start families or be comfortable?
Sure, sure. Well, I think it starts first with our young people. We have to have a community that's attractive for young professionals, for people out of high school that want to stay, live, and work here. Too. So, that would be a priority for me. What does that look like? I think entertainment options. I'm excited about the new south of downtown, south of Haymarket Park. Too. Some of those type of things just really make our community unique and different. And that's a great way to keep people here. Too. We have a vibrant arts and music community, and I love that about it. And so ways to encourage, incentivize that would certainly be supportive of too. But it comes back to also jobs too. People have to have a job to go to when they graduate from college or come out of trade school or whatever the case is, wherever they're at in life. And so we got to make sure we're a good place to do business, that we're reasonable in that, and that we continue to look for opportunities for growth in our job market too.
All right. Well, Kent appreciates the shout out to the arts and music community.
Sure.
Devoted his life to that.
So I know, yeah.
Next question, and it's the second to last question, unless an editorial board member wants to jump in after this one. But the police department is, public safety is a big issue. It's a lot on people's minds. The police department has sort of well-publicized struggles as far as staffing. They have caught up a little bit with pay, but there are also climate issues that have been in the news revolving around, harassment and whether the police department is a welcoming workplace. So what are your thoughts on the direction of the police department? City council has some role in that. Is the department headed the right direction? What are your concerns or thoughts as far as policing in the community?
Sure. Well, thank you. Well, first off, I think we're lucky in Lincoln. We have a well-respected, outstanding police force too. I think we can get better. I think we've had some missteps over the last few years that need to be addressed. But I think overall that there's a lot of policemen and women out there that are doing their best, that are working hard, and some I know and grew up with too are out there working hard every day to keep our community safe. I think there are some concerns with the environment too, the working environment, and I think those still need to be addressed. I don't know enough about it, and a lot of personnel issues and so forth too that I don't have access to, but certainly is concerning, and certainly something we need to do better at.
All right. Well, I have one final question for you, but Kent's moving forward. That's his body language that he's going to ask a question. Now he's just got to remember to unmute himself. Oh, there he did it.
I did it. Going back to the development issue, both on the Lincoln Bold and also the Wilderness Crossing out there, there's people. One of the complaints of the people that are opposed to it have been, we didn't know about it. It didn't, we didn't have time to get in on the process, or we weren't able to get in on the process, essentially before it was right before the council for a vote. How does that issue get taken care of? I mean, I know there are some procedures out there for, we notified neighborhood groups or whatever, but it seems like, at least in these two circumstances, that hasn't worked. And I think that's created some of the issues, the quote development issues that wouldn't have otherwise may not have otherwise happened.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that, Kent. It's something as we've changed a little bit how we get all our information too. And so I think that is a tough issue. I'm not sure we had the right people at the table on both those issues. And I think it's probably a fair complaint. I'm running into that with my campaign a little bit, trying to meet people and get out and access people, make sure that they know about my campaign. People aren't home. I'm knocking on doors. A lot of them have given up Facebook or given up Facebook for Lent or something too. And so it's tough to access people. Newspaper readership, we read about that. People aren't quite as often to read the paper. Radio, local news is few and far between. And so I think it is a problem. So solutions to that, I think we got to be creative. We have to, one, know what our audience is a little bit and reach out. In this case, I believe, and I think it was in this morning's paper actually, that business owners in the area weren't mailed any type of notices. I think that's an easy fix there. Let's kind of have all hands on deck on this. Let's make sure everyone in the area is getting something in the mail, in addition to something in the paper, in addition to on the news outlets too. So I think we got to just look to be more creative on how people are receiving their information too. And then secondly, I think it's important on some of these, especially these bigger decisions, that we allow enough time for word to get out. Too. I know there's a lot of times a rush and a concern and development project. We have to get it here so that we can get the next step going too. But if there is a way to better plan where we can have more time to get the word out, where people can hear about it too, I think that helps us in the long run too.
And then all the way back to your intro,
Yeah.
I'm interested. Why did you become part of the campaign about the recall of the mayor, whatever, decline to sign? What and the council? Okay, talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, one, it was people on the council who I was supportive of that were being targeted. And I felt unfairly targeted for decisions that I agreed with too. Masking and so forth too, I thought was what it was all about. And I was supportive of that at the time and still am too. I got involved a little bit with that because I really think the recall process should be used few and far between. It should be used for extreme circumstances, not when you disagree with someone on a policy position. And so that bothered me too. I had concerns going forward for our future councils, for our future mayor. If somebody just disagrees on the issue, you're going to immediately work to recall them. I don't think that's healthy for democracy and not what the system is set up to be about.
Thanks. I'm done.
Okay, all right, you leaned forward, you fooled me there. So Justin, two things. Number one, it occurred to me when you said people need to be better informed, mandatory newspaper subscription.
Yeah.
I think that's the answer. But we do have,
Or digital subscriptions.
well,
Yes.
yeah, that's the thing. Do we have more digital readers now than we've ever had? We have more eyeballs than we've ever had. So I don't want to be argumentative.
Yeah, no, it is so tough. And I've had two people I would consider friends I know for relatively well that just reached out to me here this week and just found out I was running for city council because they saw yard signs out too. They hadn't seen anything in the paper or on the news or anything, and I was surprised to hear that. But I know a lot of people are going on with their lives. They don't necessarily read all the local news. So.
Well, that's their loss. All right. Last question for it.
Sure.
Mike, Natalia, do either of you have anything? All right. So the last question is, as I said earlier, it's an open-ended one for you, Justin. What didn't we ask you that you wish we would have?
Boy, I really thought your questions were pretty good. I'm trying to think of anything else.
You can just brag about yourself for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Too. That's okay too.
Yeah, I would say just that maybe as a closing statement, if we will, I love Lincoln. That's what really why I'm running too. I love this community. It's where I choose to live. It's where my family is from, but it's where we choose to stay here and grow. 3 kids. I want to make this community good for my kids. I hope they look to Lincoln when they're done with their schooling and so forth, and look to hang around. So really think it's an important time in our city too. I think things are going pretty well in Lincoln, and I want to continue to keep it that way too. So again, I love Lincoln. I'm passionate about this community, and looking forward to the opportunity to maybe serve further.
All right. Well, Justin, we appreciate your time today. We appreciate you investing yourself in a campaign, because that's a sacrifice. And we appreciate your public service. And thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Well, thank you folks too. I really appreciate it. So good to see everybody.
Bye.
Thanks, Justin.
Thanks. Take care. See ya.